Brie versus Brie versus Brie. Today we're gonna answer the question, is all Brie the same? Let's check it out. So the reason I wanted to do this Brie test is because I had started to kind of try different types of Brie at different times. And the question kind of arose to myself as to what's the difference between all the different types of Brie? And it got me thinking, is all Brie the same? You know, different types of branding involved, different companies make Brie, but they all look the same. They seem to have very similar texture. So it made me wonder, is Brie really all the same? Is there any difference between one that's maybe has a certain, like this, is the double cream one different from fancy one? Is an award-winning Brie cheese, I don't have that here, but is it any better than all the other Brie? So I thought I'd test it out and I wanted to share my results. Now the testing parameters for this test, in order to kind of keep all cheese kind of controlled the same, these were all bought from the same place. So these were all on the shelf at the same time. I actually saw them in the grocery store in the shelf and just picked them all out at the same time. They were all stored in my fridge at the same temperature, right next to each other, so there's no difference in that. And I've also let them sit out for about 30 minutes or so in order to warm up so that we can get its full texture and creamy flavor and everything else. So basically, so it's not a solid block of ice when we try to eat it. The cheese that I chose for today are, like I mentioned, 3 off the shelf. One of the ones that I chose was the President's Choice Double Cream. I honestly don't know much about this cheese other than that it's a Brie cheese. I can't tell you anything about like the milk, aging, or anything like that. The next one is a Brie Notre Dame. I think that's by Oka, is my guess based on this branding here. And yeah, this one's a little bit smaller than the double cream Brie, but still looks like an overall good cheese to try. And lastly is the Alexis de Portneuf Bries de Matin Fromage Double Cream Brie. Excuse my French, it's been a while. And so this one I chose because I'm pretty familiar with Alexis de Portneuf, having tried one of their more unique cheeses. And I really like that cheese quite a bit, and I'll definitely share it with you sometime in the future. But I saw that they made this Brie and I thought I'd give it a try. Okay, so I just got my sample cheese. I don't know if you can tell, but I have different slices here ready to go from each of the different cheese. And now each of this cheese is labeled with a letter, but I'm unable to tell which cheese it is. That being said, upon just taking a look at the different cheese, they look different. That's really cool. I didn't expect there to be that much of a difference. The H cheese, in terms of coloration, oh wow, the coloration's different. This is interesting. I'm gonna break out the wand light. So sorry, this is gonna be a little brighter than usual, just so I can see. Okay, so if we're comparing the A cheese seems to be, I would say, to me it looks the most rustic and fancy. Rustic and fancy is the way to put it. So the A cheese has like almost like the coating on the top is almost minimal, whereas the coating on the others are a bit more like pillow-like. There's a bit more of like a more dense white layer. And yeah, there's on the A cheese you can see there's like little brown bits just under the white layer as well. And whereas the other ones like the B and the C cheese have less of a brown layer underneath. My immediate guess is that the A is probably the Alexis de Portneuf, but we'll see, I guess. Now, one other thing I'm immediately also noticing, if we go into texture, for example, is that the B cheese seems to have the least amount of creaminess to it. And I'm just actually gonna squish it a bit. I mean, it is creamy, but it has this firmness to it as well. So it's not oozing out like the other cheeses. Now the C cheese feels a bit softer, has a bit more give, and seems to be oozing out. And the A cheese seems to be oozing out quite a bit. Actually quite a bit firm as well, but has more of that oozing factor. they all smell a little different, which is interesting. Okay, so they feel very similar, but in terms of smell, A cheese has the most pronounced smell, and I would say the most volume of smell. A little stingy there. I wonder what's going on there. The B is more like a kind of like a mellow type smell, mellow, milky type smell to it. And the C cheese, okay, so C cheese has almost no smell. Going back to the B cheese, there's a little bit of a mellow, kind of moldy type smell. Okay, so with that, let's taste this cheese. Like, I'm excited to try it and see. I mean, there's already, okay, in terms of answering the question, already each Brie cheese is a little different, and we haven't even tasted it yet. We're looking at texture, we're looking at the look, the feel, even the smell of each Brie cheese is different, and I find that rather interesting because definitely blew my expectations away. Let's start with C cheese, hey? Okay, so C cheese, it's pretty mild, very buttery, a little salty, and soft. I'm gonna take a little break before I try B cheese, wash my palate so I can taste the fullness of it, so I'll be right back. Now let's try B cheese and see how it differs between C and B. The texture is definitely, the mouthfeel when you eat it is very different. A little bit more firm, more structured. In terms of flavor, the butteriness is actually a little less accentuated. So whereas C is a bit more salty, B is a bit more milky. There's definitely that milkiness there. Yeah, I can taste the milkiness now. And has a little, and also buttery as well. In some Bries, you have some really bitter rinds, or the rinds really stand out. In this case, I'm not really tasting the rind of either. They're adding more texture to each of the cheese. Still good cheese, wow. Okay, so I think that leads me to A cheese, the last cheese. Let's see how this one differs, if at all. Wow, okay. Immediately the texture is completely different. You have a bit of a rough rind. It's very creamy. This one, wow, this is, it's like cream. It really is. It's so smooth. It's got a bit of that moldy taste to it, a little slight kick, very low, much more saltier, and very buttery. So less on the milky flavor. I like this one. I like what A is. All right, before I go to eat all of it, I'm going to go pull them out and we're gonna see which one's which, and then jump to our final conclusions. Okay, so this really surprised me. First off, my overall favorite I think is the A cheese, which I really liked and just had a lot of flavor, a lot of kick. Whereas the B and the C cheese were a bit more mild in terms of flavor and texture, and a bit more of like your common Brie. But they do have their place, I will say that. For me, just as a personal favorite, I prefer the A. Now, as to which cheese is which, the B cheese is the Brie Notre Dame, so that's kind of the middle of the road. That's interesting. The C cheese is actually the Alexis de Portneuf, which I thought this one would have a bit more uniqueness, but I think this one's stuck to maybe being a bit more on the softer variety of cheese. It does say mild, so I guess there's that. And yeah, surprisingly, my favorite is the President's Choice Double Cream. Go figure. I didn't think I'd actually like a President's Choice cheese. Wow, that's a surprise to me. I really like the A cheese. It has a lot going for it. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? Besides liking the A cheese, which surprised me, not all Brie is the same. I think there are some that are quite similar. So for example, the B and the C cheese here are very similar in terms of taste and flavor, and sometimes in texture, but they're still quite different when it comes to some of the minor details. But there's just variations within the Brie cheese. So for example, this A cheese, which kind of takes it to like another level and makes it complete, like almost like another art form of Brie. So yeah, as I mentioned, not all Brie is the same, and I'm glad I tested this because now I'm gonna look for more Brie. And well, I gotta eat these ones first, but I definitely want to try more Brie. If you really like what you saw on this channel, and if you are also interested in cheese or just interested in cheese related things and want to join me on my journey to explore all kinds of different cheese, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below if maybe you have a favorite Brie cheese, or if maybe you were also surprised about the double cream Brie. And if you have any other thoughts or questions, willing to entertain it down in the comments below. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching.